Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time doing a review on Smallville Season 11 special, Valkyrie. Now, in case you wondered, Season 11 is like a comic book carry-on, like continuing after the Smallville series ended, with new adventures and Clark finally in his Superman uniform. The story starts off on a plane across the Atlantic Ocean. Lois is disturbed by a young girl. She says, so what's he really like, Superman? And so, Lois eventually tells the little girl what she's like. And after saying that, she heads to the flight deck where two of the flight crew ask her, what's he really like, the Man of Steel, and getting Lois onto her bad side. Meanwhile, one of Lois's assistant calls Perry White and to let her know Miss Lane's on the phone for him, and after getting a phone call from Lois Lane, it turns out she got arrested for beating up an air marshal and the airline assistant, and luckily she's not on the no-fly list. I mean, thankfully. So she gets a ride, and after she finally makes it across the border to the African country, and getting shot by mercenaries. And despite Lois trying to get out, it's pretty much a dogfight out there. Everyone is scared out of their mind. Lois is under fire and that. She gets out eventually and ends up with two of the vans getting blown up, and luckily being saved by no other than Lana. Now, in case if you hadn't watched Smallville, Lana was injected by kryptonite cells and became some sort of superhuman, but she had to leave due to what happened with Clark, and also having the nanites in her body. And luckily saves the day by stopping the mercenaries and saving the children. And in the end, Lois goes to follow the kids there. Lois and Lana talk later, and she talks about what happened and such, and also mentions what happened with Clark and such. Meanwhile, the mercenaries are pretty much angry. They're talking about how this happened in a bad way. So shooting down one of them who talked back, the mercenaries decide to hire a big gun, and they call for John Corbin, aka Metallo, played by Austin Green. So, after Lois is leaving for the book, her and Lana are starting talking about stuff, and talking about how well Lana's, looked after the children and such. But suddenly there's a big blast. Lana goes in and battles John Corbin Metallo, and get into a fight. Lois is shocked about why Corbin's doing this, because he mentions about what happened back in season 9, how he became 9 or 10, where back when General Zod turned into a living weapon and gave him the kryptonite heart. Turns out Corbin didn't want that. He became a living gun. After getting into a fight, and despite Lois' best try, Lana goes in for the fight, but John Corbin mentions that after his battle with after working with Toyman, Metallo is given a new kryptonite heart and new upgrades, and Lana goes in, punches him down, and tries to get John Corbin off, but something happens. All the nanites in her body upgrade John Corbin, and absorbs all the weaponry around him, turning him into some sort of weapon designer. Then the helicopter shows up, they take the propeller, and it goes flying off onto John Corbin's arms. And suddenly, two kids are mentioning what's going to happen and such. John Corbin tries to go for the kill. They realise what's happened, the power source, they have to hit it. So, taking the guns, Lois goes in and says, hit his ass, I've got this one. Go, avenge my boobs. So they go in, Lana drives the van into John Corbin, fires the missile, but it absorbs to John Corbin, which is a part of the plan, and Lois shoots the gun, taking John Corbin and removing his heart. Meanwhile, his body's been taken away, John Corbin, and taken to a place in a secret department. Lana also mentions that she doesn't have her powers, but she'll try and do much better without them. Now, what I think about the story, it's a pretty good story. We have the return of Lana Lang. We also have John Corbin returning, this time ditching his former life and going back on for revenge. I'm going to do a review on some other Smallville comics, so quick review here, signing out.